I need you to stop telling other people that you're going to do something, especially your family and your friends who want the best for you, especially your family, especially your parents who they want the best for you. They mean well, but sometimes they can give you advice that's not necessarily beneficial, and it's often advice that will keep you safe. So let me give you an example. When I became a personal trainer and I was training heavy, I was lifting heavy weights, I still am, but I was telling my mum that I'm doing all these heavy lifts, I'm deadlifting heavy, squatting heavy. My mum, being the average mum that she is, and obviously knowing as much as she knows about strength training and not being well informed about strength training, she came up with all these negatives as to why I shouldn't do strength training, why I shouldn't lift heavy weights. She came up with all sorts of, I'm just fixing the brightness because the sun's coming out. She came up with all sorts of crazy things that she told me. She said that if I'm gonna continue lifting heavy weights, I'm gonna get piles. That was the funniest one. I'm going to have problems with my joints, that, lifting super heavy is not good for you, especially as a woman. She told me that, she wouldn't want me to look like a man. And, me knowing as much as I know about strength training, knowing the benefits of it, knowing how great it's been for me, for my body, for my mental health, and obviously just knowing the fact that those things aren't true, I knew that obviously that kind of advice, the information that she was telling me wasn't true. But obviously I just nodded my head and I said, it's fine, Mom, don't worry. But I didn't want to argue with her over it because obviously she has her own, knowledge, she has her own information and she thinks that's right. And she wanted, she meant well. But if I didn't have the discipline, the passion, the motivation to continue with strength training, with weightlifting, if I didn't have the passion first and foremost, I probably would have crumbled. I probably would have listened to my mum. Let's say I was only starting out to lift weights. Let's say I wanted to get into lifting weights and I told my mum, let's say Samantha out there. Yeah, let's say your name's Samantha and you're like, I'm going to start lifting weights. This sun is annoying me today. I'm going to start lifting weights today. And you go and you tell your mother, you tell your mum, Mum, I'm going to go and join a gym and I'm going to start strength training. What does your mum do? Your mum, obviously having the knowledge that she does, she tells you all the things that my mum told me. She tells you that weightlifting is going to cause you all these problems. You shouldn't do it. Instead, just do cardio. But you've read all this information and you're like, but I know it's good for me and I know that it's going to help me lose weight and long term especially. And I know that it's great for me, but she's your mum. So you are going to trust her. You're going to trust her judgment. You're going to think, okay, so maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'll just continue doing the things that I've been doing so far. And that's, ladies and gents, most likely ladies, that's how you discourage yourself from doing anything. When you tell people that you're going to do something, people will come to you with all sorts of advice, with all sorts of information that is probably misinformation. But the thing is, when you look at this person, okay, would you, in that situation, do you think you should be taking advice from that person? Someone who hasn't lifted a single weight in their life, someone who is constantly on a calorie deficit, someone who, doesn't, let's say, have the body that you want to have, doesn't have the life that you want to live. Would you take advice from that person? If you don't want to be in their shoes, should you be taking advice from that person? Well, the answer is most likely no. So if your mum is telling you all sorts of things, or it could be friend. I'm just giving you an example of, your mum, because I find that whenever in the past I went to do something and I told my mum, obviously my mum wants the best for me, but first and foremost, she wants to make sure that I'm safe. But safe doesn't always mean good. I want to play it hard. I want to be risky. I want to take risks, especially when you're young. You have to take those risks. Let's say you want to start a business. Your mum is probably going to tell you that's not a great idea because most businesses flop. Are you going to listen to that? Well, if you do, then you won't have a business. And if you do start that business and it fails, well, you learned something. It's all about learning. And even, damn this sun, I'm having to change the brightness all the time. And even when you start strength training, you will probably get an injury. I got so many injuries, and your mum is probably going to tell you, I told you so. Don't do this stupid thing. It's not for you. It's not for women. But should you be listening to that advice? Well, the truth is you shouldn't. You should follow what you want to do, okay? Not what someone else is telling you. So this is just a quick piece of advice that I wanted to share with you because I think that it will benefit a lot of young women out there. And I know that hearing this would have benefited me when I was much younger as well. So hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. And take this advice on board.